What's going on, guys? I'm back with another one. And I just watched a movie called Baby Ruby, starring Kit Harington, Nomi Merlant, and Jane Atkinson. First of all, whatever happened to Ali Larter, man? Now, this question popped up in my head a while back when I watched a review that was mentioning one of her movies she made a while back. Well, for me, because of, how old I am. And it made me really ask, whatever happened to Ali Larter, though? She used to have this dual characteristic about any role she played. Whereas to where when she was blonde, and I hate to say it like this, her character was highly sexualized, and that's pretty much was the basis of what her character was. Sexual. Not complaining at all, but that's what it is. Then when she was not blonde, she had a much deeper role, a more complex character to herself. All right? Example, in 1999, Varsity Blues came out, right? Now, she was the girl that wore the pie and nothing else but the pie in this movie. She served as nothing else but a good time for the rest of the football players. I'm not making this up. That's what it was. And she had the blonde hair. All right? Then within that same year, House on a Haunted Hill came out. She was pretty much just the character running along with Taye Diggs, okay, for a majority of the movie. There was nothing super interesting about her character, nothing more than her being a scream queen. Nothing else, nothing wrong with being a scream queen, trust me on that, but that's just what she was, okay? Not until 2000, when Final Destination came out, did I really get to see her shine as a main character. And guess what? She didn't have blonde hair. All right? She was a deeper character. She was a more intellectual character. She sparked my interest as one of the main role characters. All right? That's just what it is. In 2001, Jay and Silent Bob came out. Now, yes, she was blonde in this one. But this is what makes me happy, because now I'm proving myself wrong, because she had a little more to her character than just being that blonde. She was there to show that she had a sense of humor and she could make fun of herself, which she did with the infamous fart scene. Girls don't fart. Gotta watch to know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? She did that. She made us actually laugh at Ali Larter at her expense. I enjoyed all of that. But then within that same year, Legally Blonde came out. Now, I know what you're saying. With a movie like Legally Blonde, she's blonde in there. We know where this is going. But surprisingly, she was actually smarter than Reese Witherspoon's character in that movie. Not too smart, but smarter than her. At the same time, she didn't have a lot going on with her own character, honestly. All right, she served a purpose that was simple. She was to be defended by the main character in the movie. That was it. So once again, it's kind of proving my point back to where it was. Okay. Then in 2002, Resident Evil came out, the first one. All right. Now, she was a blonde character in this one, and she came into the other, movies from this franchise as well as that same character. And it was nothing more than her just joining in the action. Okay, she never did anything in any of those movies, in my eyes, that was like, oh man, did you see what she did there? No, never. All the glory went to the main character. You all know who I'm talking about. It went to her. So here we go again. Ali Larter. All right. Then in 2003, Final Destination 2 came out. Now, of course, this is the little trope where they take one of the characters from the first horror movie and they put him in the second one So they can explain the rules and regulations to everybody who's new. Okay, and that's exactly what she did after she was done. She was out. That was it. Okay? Served her purpose. All right. But then in 2009, Obsessed came out. This is the movie. This is the movie that made me smile a little bit. Even though, yes, she was playing a sexualized character in it. Not complaining again. But she really acted like she knew what she was doing. Which is kind of scary because she was psychotic and sexual at the same time. So I hope she's really not that like that in real life. Crazy. But she did a great job. She really had me convinced to not mess with anybody at your office. All right. She really had me. It's a warning. Don't do this. Well, especially if you're married. I'm not married, but you know my point here. Okay. She did a great job with that. And now I'm asking the question, will she ever do anything worthwhile ever again in that status? Yes, she had a very iconic show, Heroes. Well, she was in a iconic show with Heroes. I hear everybody talk about this, especially a little bit of the new generation. But besides that, what else will she do? Let's get to the review. Baby Ruby. For those who don't know, for those who are not aware, if you don't know about Baby Ruby, I can't be mad at you, man. This just kind of sprang out of nowhere. All right, this is filmed in 2022. It's released in 2023. We're still early in the year. Movies are just popping out of nowhere, left and right. Honestly, all right. And this was no different from the others. So I'm letting you pass this time, okay? Baby Ruby is pretty much about this famous vlogger named Joe, who's, of course she's famous, so she's well known. And now it's time for her to be a mother. She's gotten pregnant. She's with her husband, played by Kit Harington from Game of Thrones. Got to throw that in there. All right, he's a butcher, so they got two pretty interesting careers going on here. And of course, she's vlogging everything, or a little bit of here and there of everything going on with her pregnancy and this. And her friends are over and they're celebrating. She's throwing her own baby shower. A little weird, but she's doing that. All right, no big deal, right? Then things start to take a turn for the weird. All right, she starts to see things, visions, people that are not there, hear voices, and they get worse when she actually has the baby. All right, and the baby won't stop crying. It won't. Every time it's in her presence, it starts crying. Then when it's in somebody else's presence, it stops. And this is driving her insane. And she's starting to notice that people around her are acting strange. All right. Her husband's mother, the other women with babies in town, for some reason, they will not show her their babies. Anytime, ever. All right. She starts to become a whole nother person. And now she must find out if everything she sees is actually there or real, or is this really happening to her? And that's the premise of the movie. Positives. The anxiety from the movie. When I watched this movie, I felt so anxious throughout the entire film. It's just like you feel the anxiety she's going through. All right. Hey, you're not having a baby. Yeah, she's having a baby. All right, but the things she's going through don't seem normal, or not something that a pregnant woman should be going through. A newly pregnant, a new mother shouldn't be going through all this. Is this normal, or is something else going on here? And for that to go through your head constantly, and then the baby won't stop crying, and this just happens in normal pregnancies and with normal situations with new mothers. This happens. Babies, they cry a lot sometimes. Okay, they cry a lot. You have to learn how to deal with that. But there was something else bubbling up in this movie that was just not. It was a little odd, a little out of the ordinary, and you just didn't know what it was. And so, of course, the heart rate starts going up, and you're getting tense. because she's getting tense, and it's really messing with your head. That was a good little element in that movie. Another positive about this, the illusions. All right, throughout this movie, the things that were making her anxiety go through the roof was the things she was seeing that were not really there, or supposedly not there. Okay, she saw a lot. There's every time you saw her in a scene, you look at her shadows, and her shadows would not move at the same time she moved. All right. And even when she walked away, her shadows would stay there, which raises another question for me. I'm going to ask that later on. All right. We'll put that for later on. But other things she was just seeing, like her mother-in-law breastfeeding her kid. What was up with that? Did she see that, or did she not see that? All right. That's what I'm talking about here. All right. She sees the baby, and within her phone, disappearing and coming back to the crib, and some kind of figure standing over the baby crib. All right. Of course, that would creep any parent out immediately. They both went back to the house to see what's going on. Nothing was the matter. All right. So you're really constantly asking yourself, what is going on with all this? And the illusions are not helping. They're scaring the crap out of it. It kind of reminds me of Hereditary. Not exactly like that, but it had that feel. It had that feel with you're always wanting to see what's going on in that background because you know something's going on that shouldn't be going on. Okay, so I like that part of it too. My last positive about this, the actual meaning of the entire plot. Okay, you don't really find that out until the end of the movie. And so it's kind of like a twist, not a twist, but a reveal. All right. Of the whole element of the movie, actually. So while you're thinking this is going on, because it can't be this, it's gotta be something wrong. It's gotta be something wrong on this level. But then actually it's just this. And for them to do it in that way, that was a good way to send it home. That was a good way to send this movie home. And I'm not even gonna lie about that. Okay, I still have some issues with that, which I'll get into a little later on. But on one side of this, its ending was quite interesting, to say the least. It was interesting. I can see why this would be a good ending for it, for some people. And so I accept that. I accepted it for that, and that reason only. This is a real thing that happens. So on. I'm sure of it. And so I was like, oh, so it's ending like this. Okay, this is why, and this is why. Oh. It makes a lot of sense once you see the movie exactly. Negatives. There was a strange thing that was going on with the baby. All right. I looked this up. I did my research on this. The baby started teething quite early. Now it's rare. It's rare. It usually takes 4 months at the least for a baby to start teething, usually. But they can start teething earlier than that. My question is, do they teeth to the point where they can make somebody bleed if they bite them? It was just born. It was just born. This baby already bit her mouth, and then it bit her ear, and there was blood everywhere. Is that possible? I have to ask anybody who's had kids, or anybody who's had kids who were teething early. Please answer that in the comment section. Do babies have the strength, the power at that early of a stage to bite somebody and make blood come from their body? All right, is that possible? I don't even think that's possible. All right, that's why I was scratching my head like this is so. If this is happening, something else has to be wrong I questioned my sanity throughout this movie with that. I really did. It just can't be this. It has to be this. That doesn't seem normal. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of a baby biting someone at that early of an age, or that early of the stage of being born, and they can draw blood. This is not a baby cub or an animal. It's not an animal. All right. Well, kind of is, but you know what I mean. All right. Odd, very odd. My second negative about this. There were things that happened within this movie that were just strong loose ends. All right. And what I mean by that is, and I'll get into that a little later on too, if the movie was to end like this, then what was this? What was that? What was going on with this? Okay, like I mentioned earlier, she saw her mother-in-law breastfeeding her kid. Okay, we don't know if that's an illusion or not still. All right, I just watched the whole dang movie. There's another situation with the friends she encountered in that little area who all had their own babies, but they would never let her see the babies. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything on that. I'm trying not to. Okay, so I'm going to say this. She finds something out with the friends after having an interesting night with them not too long ago. Very interesting. You'll find out a lot about her too in that night. But then when she goes back to meet the main friend, which is the only one who really talked, which is also kind of odd, the main friend was missing her very strong, really bad. Like they were in love or something. She couldn't even remember that night. The friend, she remembered everything. And then when she explored the friend's house even further, after wondering why the babies would never be able to be seen, why she wouldn't let her see her baby, she discovered some things. All right. And that was never really looked at again. The movie kind of wraps it up with something else like, oh, it was just this. But what? Do you okay? For the condition or whatever condition she could have been going through, or whatever's going on. All right. Is that normal for that? Whatever that condition is, I don't know what's going on. But does that seem normal? I don't know. Will you see stuff if you're illusioning or seeing things, or these things are illusions supposed to be? Would you see all of that? You have to watch the movie to know what I'm talking about. Okay, honestly, my last negative about this. The movie should have definitely ended a way more of a different vibe than what it ended in. Okay. The way that it ended, even though I understand that why and how that makes sense, and how you can end it like that and still get people like, oh snap, oh that's what I still feel like the ending was lackluster. Was a really lackluster ending to me. Okay, I'm just gonna be completely honest with you. From the way things were going with the mother-in-law and the friends, and just the weird vibe and the story the mother-in-law told her in the movie. Oh yeah, there's something about that too. It's just creepy. Okay, for it to end the way it ended, I feel like I'm being left out of something. There's something they're not telling the audience. Okay. And so I really wish could be redone with an alternative ending. That would have been amazing. An alternate ending for this would have been incredible. Just an idea. But with that, I have to say I'm giving this an cool. Yes, and all right, cool. That the ending just didn't paw out for me. It didn't really thaw out the way I wanted to thaw out. All right. Once everything, all the ice was gone and everything had melted. This is what you get. This is what I'm getting. I'm dealing with it, but I don't know. I just don't know. Press that like button, share, and you better subscribe.